And we're back once again. Welcome to another episode of Successful Marketing, Sales, and Relationships for Adult Business Owners and Entrepreneurs. I am your host, best-selling author Sadon Long. Thank you for tuning in today. And today we are talking about playing in your face. That's right, playing in your face. What you need to do to identify employees that aren't holding up their end of the bargain, employees that aren't carrying their weight. What you need to do when the people you pay to run your business are running you out of business. Now, the reality of life is this: you can't do everything by yourself. You cannot. So you hire people. You need people. You need people to work the counter. You need people to work the back. You need people to work when you aren't there. And the reality is, if you hire great people, man, this thing can go smooth. They can get paid. You could get paid. You both can have a wonderful life. But when you hire wrong, they can put you out of business. You could end up in court. You could end up broke, bankrupt, in shambles by simply hiring the wrong people. Now when you work for a company and they steal stuff, you get a bad audit, you get fired. But when you are an entrepreneur, it's your money they're stealing. It's your legacy they're stealing. It's you that they're assaulting when they take your stuff. It's you they're using. It's you they're making a fool of when they stand in your face and they're telling you what they did or didn't do, and then they take your stuff out the back door. So today we're going to talk about it. So thank you for tuning in. Make sure you get your paper and pen, and we're about to go up. So the first thing I want to talk about when we start talking about, or better yet, the first thing you need to know when we talk about hiring employees is salaries are an investment. When you pay somebody, it is an investment. Okay, so if I pay you $9 an hour, $14 an hour, $15 an hour, $30 an hour, whatever it is, the belief is that I am going to get 10 times the amount of work for the amount of money that I paid. So that is the first thing. Once you get that in your head, and once you start understanding, oh, I invested $14 in you this hour. So what does my return on my investment look like? Okay, so if I gave you $14 for an hour of service, what did you do for me in exchange for it? You're not paying people to stand on the floor. You're not paying people to lean. You're paying people to actually be a part of the revenue generating process. So how did you make money for me? How did you make it easier for me to make money? How did you lower my stress level? How did you take something off my plate so I could then go make some money? Okay. So with that being said, I'm trading money for something that is ultimately going to either A, make me money, make it easier for me to make money, or make the money I make less stressful. So number one, off the top, that is the first thing you need to get in your head. Because a lot of times my experience with people is we're paying them, but we're not really understanding how we're supposed to get the return on our investment. You know, you're an investment to your employer, and the only reason they're hiring you is because you are productive. And when they say productive, what they really mean is that you are helping them generate money. So the first thing we need to do is just really shift our mindset. Shift our mindset to do we so we understand that this is what the expectation is. Same thing when you hire marketing people. When you hire a marketing person, there's a whole lot of picture taking, but not a whole lot of money making. You know, how am I going to recoup the money that I have invested? So I know I'm jumping around just a slight bit, but these are the two areas that people struggle in when it comes to keeping their businesses open. The people that they hire to drive traffic to the store, and the people that they hire to work the store when people actually get there. So again, all of these things are investments. You invested in a marketing team, you invested in employees, you invested in a manager. Okay? So all of these things are supposed to give you a return on investment. And when there's no return on investment, what happens? You lose money. Your name is on the lease. Your name is on the loan. Your name is on all of this merchandise that you got on credit. Okay. And when it does not work, they just go find another job. You know, they just go on to scam somebody else. They just go on to take advantage of somebody else. So it is time that we stop allowing the employees to see us as food, and that we stop engaging in these toxic relationships with employees. So now let's start to look at the things that we really need to start looking at when we start to hire somebody. Okay, so number one, when you're starting to hire somebody, you want to get somebody who's better at whatever it is that you need them to do than you. You know, significantly better. Okay. So if I hire people to sell, I need to get salespeople who can sell way better than I can. Okay, that way they're selling at a very high level, and I could go sit in the back. You know, they're selling at a very high level, and I could go make some phone calls. They're selling at a very high level, and I could go to the bank. Okay, because if they sell worse than I do, then I'm going to always have to make up the difference. You know, I'm going to have to get out there on the floor. I'm going to have to call the customers back. I'm going to have to do things that take away from my ability to make money and enjoy my life and spend time with my family. So when you hire someone, you need to hire somebody better than you. You know, that would be the equivalent of going to the barbershop and then having to go home and then touch your own beard up. Okay. Why are you going to the barbershop and then having to come home and recut your hair? Makes no sense. So the same thing applies when you hire an employee. You want to hire somebody better than you. If I got to keep going in and retweaking the website, and I got to keep going in and retweaking the emails, then I'm not hiring the right person. You know, if I have to hire a marketing firm and then I still got to worry about driving traffic and think about ways to make money and think about ways to get people in the store, then I hired the wrong firm. You know, so again, you want to hire someone who is significantly better than you. Put it in a simple way. The owner of the basketball team should not have a better shot than the point guard. You know, the owner of the basketball team should not be able to beat the point guard in a game of one-on-one. You know, the owner should not be able to run for touchdowns better than the people that are on the field. You know, so you want to think like a boss. You want to think like an owner. I want to go out and I want to get the best employee possible. Okay. So here's how you know that you're getting good employees. First and foremost, you want to look at their track record. Okay. Do they have any experience? Do they have any proof that they've done this at a high level? Okay. So there's two ways to look at this. There's the I'm going to let them tell me, and when they tell me their experience, I want them to be able to give me details. I sit down with my clients and people that they want to bring on board, and the first thing I want to know is, how have you made people money before? Okay. Show me some steps, some practices, some tactics. Okay. So when you start walking a person through how have you made people money before, they need to be able to give you a real story. And then you ask the magic question, and what else? So if I say, for example, well, let's just use me as an example. Somebody says, well, have you ever made a client money before? Absolutely. Every client I've ever worked with is in the red. Well, how did you do it? Well, each client is different. Some clients that I worked with, it was just simply adding additional programs. So we looked at what they had and we said, okay, well, what else could we add that they would need that would make you some money? So if, for example, you are a person who's teaching dispatching. Okay, so we figured out that the number one skill that dispatchers need was they needed to be able to work the load board. Okay, so then we came up with the load board mastery class. Okay, so now when we come up with the class, that's not originally what it started at, but I created a name that was more marketable, which then helped us close more deals. Then I created the emails. Okay, so that helped drive it. Now, am I the only person that put in any work? Absolutely not. But did my work contribute? Absolutely. You know, you look at other clients, you say, well, what did you do differently? Okay, well, we figured out that it wasn't the front end, that it was the back end. So we need to change how we close. Okay? So we changed the name of the program. to something that was more appealing to the client. And what else? Well, we stopped doing this. We stopped doing that. And then we created this. So when you're sitting down with someone, you really need to be digging in and saying, okay, show me how you've done this in the past. And when they show it to you, then you ask questions. And when you start to ask those questions, you want them to be able to demonstrate. I remember when I went into a department store position, I became a department head. But I'd come from Foot Locker. Let's just go and say it, tell the truth. Ain't no need to try to hide it, not act like I'm sending you there. But anyway, I went from Foot Locker and I went to Penny's. And I sat down with the guy. The guy's like, okay, well, I need you to turn my department around. What would you do? How would you do it? Okay, now show me how you teach the people. And within 18 months, I had us in the black. Number one among stores of our size. Yeah, but I admired the way that he interviewed me because he wanted to see that I actually had the goods. He didn't just want to look at my resume. He didn't just want to hear that I had experience. He was like, okay, show me how you actively get this done. So when you're interviewing people, you want to look at the habits, the traits, the behaviors. Do they actually have a plan? And have they ever executed this plan before? So now when you get somebody, the next step is you need self-starters. Okay? You need people who are asking you questions. You don't need people that you gotta babysit, that you have to inform, enlighten. They need to come in the door wanting to know. Okay? So if they come in the door and they're not already looking to see what we need to get done today, and they're not already making out their list of what needs to get done, then they're probably not the employee. They're probably not the right one. Now, the reason I'm saying they're probably not the right one, because now, even though you hired an employee, you still have to call and say, hey, did you make sure that you get this done? Hey, what are we looking like today? Hey, did you make sure you did this? So now, yeah, I have a body, but the body I have doesn't have a brain. And if this was the Wizard of Oz, then we could just go see the wizard. But this is real life. So again, you have to have someone who is going to be self-motivated. That they're going to come up with ways to make money for the company. That they're going to come up with ways to help you with sales. They're going to come up with ways to help you with marketing. And they are going to then bring solutions to you. Hey man, I know we're having a problem with traffic. So what I decided to do is I decided to put together all the local businesses around here and came up with a letter to send them. What you think? Here's the letter. So now you're not the only person thinking about making money. You're not the only person thinking about how can we get better? How can we improve? Because what will happen is you'll have people on the sales floor, you'll have people working in your company, you'll have people working in your business, and they'll just be dead weight. So if they aren't actively coming up with ideas that they are then willing to execute, they're probably not the right one. Okay, so let's just say you got the idea, but now all your idea did was create more work for me. Okay, I don't want a person that creates more work for me. I want a person that makes my job easier. So again, you need self-motivated people. If they say, hey boss, we need to get into this industry, then they need to come to you with, here's how much it's going to cost us. Here's the people we need to contact. Here's what it takes to get it done. Here are the steps that I'm willing to own in regard to getting it done. Okay. So now you have a person who is good for the business. The Bible says, go get Mark. He is good for the ministry. So that is what you want. You want people, man, who don't bring problems and ideas. They bring solutions. Okay. So if you are someone who is solution orientated and you're working for a company, man, come in with it already laid out. Because now it is a lot more likely to get done because you're the one who's taking ownership over it. Okay. Now with that being said, you need self-starters. I know I'm repeating it. I know I'm drilling it in. I know I'm drilling down on it. But you need self-starters. Okay? Because again, a self-starter can actually manage and lead, and you can go home and see your kids. A self-starter can actually manage and lead, and you can open up another location, and now they can take over that location. You know, so they already know what needs to be done. So now you can put them in charge of stuff and put them in charge of projects, and you don't have to worry about it anymore. You know, but if you have people who you have to find, track down to figure out what's going on, then that's taking too much brain power from you. You know, if you know every Monday we're supposed to meet, you need to be sitting in the office already ready to go. Okay, it's 11. We're supposed to meet at 11. That person needs to already be at your door. You shouldn't have to call them, get up, look for them. You know, because what you find out, the people you have to look for usually ain't got the work done. I'm gonna repeat that part. When you have to find the employees, it's because they usually have left the work undone. You know, God had to find Adam. Why? Because Adam was out of pocket. You know, when people are on their A game, when people are in their flow, you don't have to find them. They'll find you because they want to report to you all the good work they've done. They want you to see the good work they've done. Look what I did, Doc. Look what I did, boss. You know, this place shining, dog. You know, again, that's what they want. They want to show off their good work. You know, so if you work in a boutique, you want the person that's gonna make sure that the dusting is done and the floors are mopped. That the inventory is stacked, that we're ready to go. Because that's most likely going to be the person that helps you make your days, make your months, pay yourself, pay your salary, pay back your investors. Okay? The person who's just standing around giving you a whole bunch of, ooh, this is nice. We should build some tabernacles here. That's not the person you want. That person's not thinking about how we're going to make our money back. They're just stealing from you. And if they're stealing from you, that means they're stealing from your kids. If they're stealing from your kids, do you really want them? Because they're making your life harder. If they are stealing because they're not productive, that means there are customers that you could have sold more to that you didn't. That means that there are customers that you could have called and would have come in today that didn't. That means that there are dollars that should have been in your cash register that aren't. So again, are these people playing in your face? And if they're playing in your face, that means they don't respect you. That means they don't love you. That means they don't care about you. So why are you letting somebody stand here and tell the bold-faced lie? Like they really rocking with you, like they're really down with you when they're not. Okay? Because that's what's ultimately going to cost you your business. Somebody playing work, not working. So let's look at what we got. We want to get people who are significantly better than us. We want to get people who are self-starters. So now the next thing is we want to get people, man, who are ethical. Because theft is real. On the clock theft. People putting in hours on the payroll that they never worked. People who are taking your merchandise. People who are giving away discounts. All of those things are taking money out of your pocket. Now, if you were just, a member of a corporation, that wouldn't affect you one bit. We had a slow day today. That didn't hurt my pockets, at least not in the short term, because I still got my hourly wage. So if you work at the dollar store, then fine. If you work for the company and they still in Kronos, then fine, okay. It didn't really hurt you in the short term. But even in those situations, eventually it catches up with you. Eventually you get a memo and it says, hey, these people have been fraudulent. Eventually you have an audit and the audit's bad and now your job is in jeopardy. So in the short term, yeah, it might not affect your day, but in the long term it does. Okay. But now as a owner of a business, that's your money they're stealing. No, that's your merchandise they're stealing. That's you they're defrauding. That's you they're taking advantage of. So you need people who are ethical. So when you start asking in the interview, man, you want to know like what type of values and morals are these people moving with? You know, what type of code are they standing on? You know, so when you ask the questions, you want to ask questions like, hey, how do you feel about underperforming employees? Now, I know that's not the question that you would think you would ask in an interview, but it is. Because you want a person to tell you what they would do if they were in your shoes. You want a person to give you their perspective on underperforming. Because what you'll find out is that the people who tolerate underperformers are usually underperformers. Think about it like this. You look at Kobe and Shaq. Kobe and Shaq, when Shaq was in shape, was the most unstoppable force in sports. Shaq was in shape, running up and down the floor. Kobe was in great shape. They were killing everybody. Three-peat. Soon as Shaq started eating Zoom Zooms and Wham Whams and French fries and running up and down, Sunset Strip, hopping in the lowrider, all of a sudden he's showing up fat. And Kobe was like, can't win with him. Won't play with him. He got to go. Why? Because he's not helping the team. He's hurting the team. He's lazy, which makes the guys around him lazy. Here's a story that I got one time, because I'm a sports fan. So, story I got one time talking about a star player. He said, I don't have a problem with my star player going out and having a good time. I don't have a problem with my star player going out and staying out all night. Because I know my star player's going to come in and still give me 3 touchdowns, still throw for 400 yards, still lead us to a victory. The problem is the 5 guys he took out with him. Okay. Those guys are going to be missing blocks. Those guys are going to be dropping balls. Those guys are going to keep us from winning. Okay. So you want to know the perspective the people you hire have on underperformers. Because those are the people that you're going to need to help hold people accountable and create the culture of winning that winning organizations have. Winning organizations are people-driven, team-driven, player-driven. They are not driven by owners. Okay? You need people who are going to be accountable and holding each other accountable when you're not there. You need a person to show up on time, get everything ready to go, and make sure that it is running smoothly, even if you're not there. Okay. And typically people who tolerate underperforming and make excuses for underperformers are underperformers. So if you're going to build a winning organization, especially this time of year, because you only have a small window to do probably almost half the business you're going to do for the whole year right now. So you cannot afford to have a team full of people who don't care nothing about you. Who don't care nothing about the vision, who don't care nothing about whether or not we make ourselves there or not. Because if you have those people on your team, you're going to end up out of business. It might be slowly, it might be fast. But either way, you're going to end up out of business because those people are stealing from you. They're keeping you from reaching your highest heights and executing at the highest level, executing at the level you imagined and dreamed. If you have a business, like I had a client one time tell this story. So take a meeting, and they bring their second in command. After the meeting, I got on the phone with the client. I was like, hey, man, we need to get rid of that guy. And they were like, well, why would you say that? I'm like, well, his whole demeanor says he don't care. The way he showed up to me and the way he acted in the meeting says he don't care. So, fast forward. Client didn't get rid of him. Stole from him. Stole a significant amount of money from him. Now he's mad. He's embarrassed. He's ashamed. And now he's got to go answer to all of these people who he thought were getting paid that weren't getting paid. So, again, if you let these people linger, they're eventually going to bite you. It becomes the scorpion and the frog. Scorpions promised that he wasn't going to bite the frog if the frog took him across the lake. What happened? Scorpion bit him anyway. It's like, I'm a Scorpion. This is what I do. They're thieves. They're going to steal. So here's a philosophy that you need to adopt. Interview meticulously, interview slowly, interview often, but fire fast. One more time. Interview meticulously, interview slowly, interview often, but fire fast. Okay. So you want to take your time and be very careful about the people that you add to your team. But as soon as they show you that they're not a part of the team, as soon as they show you that they're not the people that they say they were, you got to let them ride. Because if you do not, they will eventually steal from you. They will eventually cost you money. They will eventually, more than likely, cost you your business. So again, hire people who are significantly better than you so that you could go home and rest and know that it is still being run at a high level. Hire self-motivated people. People that you don't have to tell what to do. People that you don't have to babysit. People that come in and find out what is going on for themselves. People that show up for the meetings on time with their work. Because if you got to look for them, the work's probably not done. Hire ethical people. People that aren't going to steal from you. People that aren't going to tolerate other people stealing from you. You know, people that are going to tell you what is going on. Now, you could call it snitching if you want to, but if you're the business owner, do you want a person that's going to tell you that somebody's stealing or not? And then lastly, it is interview slowly, meticulously, and often. That way, you know you got the right people. That way, you know you're adding the right people to your team. And when you add the right people to your team, now you have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people who all are working at a very high level. You know, biblically it says 1 lets loose 1,000, but 2 lets loose 10,000. So if you got 2 stars on the sales floor, you got 2 stars on the phone, or you got 2 stars, you know, out here hustling for you, how much easier does it make you? It doesn't make your life. How much easier does it make everything around you? How much easier does it make it so that you can then build the life that you want for you and your family? Okay. Now, I'm not telling you to take advantage of these people. I'm telling you to pay the people well. I'm telling you to treat the people well. I'm telling you to partner with the people. Don't just call them the workers. But I'm also telling you that you have to get people worthy of partnering with. Because that is how you're going to win. You know, you could have a great business plan. You could have a great product. But if you got sorry people, it's not going to work. And if you don't have the results that you need, then it's going to be real hard to sit in front of these banks. It's going to be real hard to sit in front of these foundations. It's going to be real hard to sit in front of these investors. Because the people are dragging down the numbers. So when you should have done 80,000, you only did 60. And 60 might be the difference between you getting a loan and not getting a loan. Now, when you should have done 80,000 and you only did 60, that might be the difference between you being able to pay tuition and not pay tuition. You know, because either way, those people are still going to need to be paid. Okay? And if you're not doing enough business, now what? You're going to go in your 401k? You know, you're going to go and take out a loan so you can make payroll for some people who ain't helping you? Really? Okay. So you're going to pay people money that you have to figure out how to pay back that aren't helping you pay it back. Think about what I just said to you. Like, I hired these people. We supposed to do 80,000. We only did 60. But I still had to pay them like we did 80. And the money I was going to pay them with, we don't have. So now I have to then go and figure it out. Whether I borrow it, whether I take it out of my savings, whether I put it on a credit card. Okay. So again, the worst pain you will ever feel is having to pay an underperformer. You know, because basically I'm paying thieves. So again, stop letting these people steal from you. Stop letting these people keep you from being great. Stop letting these people sell you that It's, it is just a slow time of year. People ain't got no money. You know, the question is not that it's a slow time of year and people don't have money. The question is, how do we find the people that do have money? And what are you doing to help us find them? Anybody can tell people what's impossible, but the great ones figure out how to make something possible when it is impossible. They figure out how to create a new lane, figure out how to create a new way. So again, this is successful marketing, sales, and relationships. And the relationships with your employees are equally as important as your sales and marketing. Who you hire, who you partner with, who you allow to run your store when you're not there. Because again, if you have a restaurant and they're giving away all the fries, that's messing up the food costs. If they put an extra, pieces of chicken in and they messing up the orders, that's running up the food costs, which is now cutting into your profits. If you're in a boutique and they stealing the stuff and they giving away the stuff when you're not there, you still had to pay for that stuff. Whether it's on consignment or you had to pay for it on a credit card. So we have to get better people, and we have to hold those people accountable. And the more you have to hold them accountable, the more energy it takes from you being able to do other things that you need to do. So if I got to babysit you, now I can't be out promoting. If I got to babysit you, that means I got to take away time from my family. If I got to babysit you, I cannot enjoy my life. Man, so again, you keeping me from being great. And when it all goes down, you just gonna go get another job. And I'm gonna be stuck with all these bills and merchandise I could have moved during the holidays. And now I gotta put it all on sale in January. If the people don't sell it now, you're gonna have to sell it at cost in January. So put people on the floor who can get this stuff off so that you don't have to kill your profits by putting it all on sale next month. Okay. You're not a big box. You're not a chain store. You can't give away stuff for 50% off. Okay. If you start putting the stuff on clearance, that's taking money that you should have made and just setting it on fire. So you need people who are going to get it and get it right now. So with that being said, if you have any questions whatsoever, okay, you can leave them in the comments. You can DM me. But I would prefer that you go to grownandrich.com and click the Make Money Fast button. They're going to send me an email. I'm going to then send you an email back. We're going to schedule a time where we're going to talk about everything concerning your business, from your marketing to your sales to your people to your goals. And anything that we come up with that can help you actually reach your goals, make more money, and improve the productivity of your people, you get to keep and use. And any benefit you get from it is yours. And the call itself is on me. Now, in regard to a call, I don't see why you wouldn't want to have a call with somebody who's an award-winning sales trainer, a record-setting recruiter, who's helped make millions of dollars online for his clients, who has multiple CEOs and seven-figure business owners who pick up the phone and call him and ask for his advice. So I can't figure out why you wouldn't want it too. But in any case, this has been another episode of Successful Marketing, Sales, and Relationships for Adult Business Owners and Entrepreneurs. I am your host, Sadon Long, aka the most dangerous man in marketing. It has been an honor. I appreciate you. I love you. Please share this with someone else, because if you are a friend, then you don't want your friends to get taken advantage of by lazy employees, by unethical employees. So share it with them. You don't have to say, hey man, I went in there the other day and they was just laying all over the counter. You could just share the pod with them and say, hey, what do you think? So we don't have to embarrass anybody to help them. So as always, it's been an honor and a pleasure. I'm out.